Well, here we go again. I'm going to do a short tutorial on layers and layer masks, which I believe are the fundamental building blocks of Photoshop. Um, Without layers and layer masks, it would be almost useless to you and I as photographers as a photo editing tool. We'll go ahead and open Photoshop. Layers in Photoshop is just the ability to stack one image on top of another. Um, a lot of programs do use layers, and there are other programs where you can use layers and layers masks, but Photoshop is the, I suppose, the number one photo and image editing tool. You can see from my workspace here in Photoshop, this is CS5. I have my layers palette in this corner. Currently everything's grayed out because there's nothing here on my screen. So we'll start off by opening a new image. When we click new, this dialog box opens up, which enables you to name the image, blank or whatever you want to call it, and it gives you the options of sizes, working space, the background color. This is going to open an A4 sheet, which is white, and it's in ProPhoto RGB working space, which I use. So I'll go ahead and open it. Once I click OK, it automatically opens this A4 sheet, and you'll notice in the layers palette on the right hand side, it automatically names it background. Okay, so for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to make 3 layers. So I'm going to stack another layer or another sheet on top of this. And there are a couple of ways I can do it. Down in the bottom of the layers palette, beside the bin, there's this little icon. If I click that, that will create a new layer. If I drag the background into it, drop it here, it will give me a duplicate of the background. Just to show you that, I shall do a quick bit of graffiti. You see that anything I've done on this shows up on the little thumbnail here. So I just click on the background, drag it down onto the layer icon. It will give me an exact duplicate of my original, and it automatically renames it background copy. Okay, so if you're working on an image, it makes sense to copy your original image, so as you work on it, if things don't go according to plan, you always have your background intact and unaltered. Another way to create a layer is by clicking directly on the icon, and that will create a new layer. You'll notice in this one that it hasn't copied either of these images, and you have this checkerboard effect, which basically means it's blank, see-through, transparent. Okay. We also have the ability to change the names of these layers. If I go to the background layer, you'll notice a little lock on the far right hand side. All background layers will have a lock which limits you to certain things you can do with it. If you want to manipulate or work on your background in a way that Photoshop doesn't want you to, it's very simple. You just rename it. If we double click the name background, this dialog box appears. We can rename it. Photoshop will automatically name it layer 0. In this case, we'll rename it red. This color doesn't fill the card. All this does, if I click red on this, this will assign a color to the icon on the left hand side. So we'll do that. Okay, so basically we have the exact same layer. It's indicated red here because I choose to do that, and it's called red. But as you can see, absolutely no change. We'll go to background copy 2. I double click that and rename it green. And go to the top layer, double click that name, we'll call it blue. Right, you'll also notice as I click on each layer, it becomes highlighted, which means this is the active layer. Okay, so because we've called this red, I think we'll fill it with red. We go to edit and fill. Now we want to fill it with a color, and it gives us a choice. We'll pick a nice red color here. Somewhere there, it doesn't really matter. And accept that. You'll notice, however, this thumbnail indicates that it is now a solid red color, but you can't see it because we have this, which is the green layer above it, which is still white with our bit of graffiti. These little eye icons on the side turn each layer on and off. So if I turn off the green layer, it more or less hides it, and we can see the red below. You notice that this layer is not turned off, but we can still see the red below. That's because this present is a transparent layer. There's nothing on it. If I were to write on that, if I click that and make it active, I can write on the blue layer. So I've now written, because this is active, on this sheet of paper, which is transparent. It's now transparent with this squiggly line. If I now turn off the red layer, the only one visible is this layer. Okay, we'll turn this back on again. We'll now activate the green layer by clicking on it, which means anything I do is going to happen in this layer. And in this case, you guessed it, we're going to fill it with green. So now you see the green layer sitting above the red, so we can't see this, it's totally obscured by this, but above that we still have the squiggles on this transparent layer. Now I activate the blue layer by clicking on it and fill this with, no, you guessed it, blue. You'll notice now the writing on the squiggly line has disappeared because we have just more or less taken a brush, painted the whole sheet blue. Now, that's all very well and good. I hope you've gotten the gist of it so far. Another thing we can do is rearrange the order of the layers. So if I want my blue layer to be between the green and red, I simply drag it down. Green now is on top, with blue underneath and the red at the bottom. And if I turn the green off, you'll see the blue. Turn the blue off, you'll see the red. Okay. Now where Photoshop comes into its own as a photographic manipulator, should I say, is it gives us the ability to, if you were, cut holes in any layers and reveal sections of the layer below. And this is done very simply. We first of all create a layer mask. So if I go to my green layer, remember the layer has to be active, and it's activated by clicking on it. And if we drop down here to this little icon, and it tells you what it's going to do. If you click it, it's going to add a layer mask. So if we click it, we now get a second icon on the green layer. Now, to make use of this, we need to cut a hole in the green layer, and in doing so, it will reveal the layer below. And how we achieve this is very simple. You can see at the moment that this is white, which indicates that there are no holes, there's nothing visible through it. To look through it, all we've got to do is paint on this, not on the green layer, on the white layer mask with black paint. So I already selected my pencil. My foreground colour is black. I've selected the layer mask, which is selected just by clicking on it. If I increase the pencil size and draw a line through it, it reveals the blue layer below. And you can see up here, it gives me an indication on the layer mask of what I've just done. Well, if I fill a bit more of that. Okay. One point to remember is that this has to be done on the layer mask. This is active. You can see by this little box around it. If I were to click on the green icon, the little box around it shows that the actual green sheet, for want of a better word, is the active sheet. And if I were to paint at the moment, it's actually just painting onto that sheet, which is indicated up here. Remember, we've punched a hole through here. We've made it, the layer below, visible because we painted black on the layer mask. So if I was to draw a line from the green sheet from here to the top corner, you'll notice I can still see the blue underneath because of the layer mask. This area of the green is invisible, or is now transparent. By the same token, if we highlight the blue layer down here, click the layer mask, it gives us the exact same. Now, the mask itself is at the moment active, as indicated by the border around it, the little frame. So if I was to paint on the blue, if I paint here, it shows up. I've punched a hole in the blue sheet, but the green sheet is covering it. So we can't see it. If I were to activate the green mask, punch a hole in it, in the same place, I'm looking through the green, through the blue, this hole in the blue, and I can see the red below. As the red is on the bottom of our stack of layers, for want of a better way to put it, there's little point in having a layer mask in that, because if we punch a hole or make this transparent, any part of it, there's nothing behind it to reveal. So this is a very powerful way to work in Photoshop. It's powerful in the fact that if we do something such as cut out the sky, if you can imagine, I'll just go back to, well, before we go any further, we'll see this is all reversible. If I click on the green mask layer and activate it, and I change my foreground color to white, and I now paint on the mask with white, it fills in that transparent area and lets us see what is exactly here. And if I do it on the blue and draw a line through it, the blue, you can see from the icon, this lets you know what you've done. I've filled that white again, or in other words, I've closed up that hole that I was looking through. So by changing from black to white, this means we can make alterations to our image or underlying layers, and if we don't like it or we make a mistake, we change our paint color back to white and paint it back in again. This is what makes layers so invaluable in photo editing. I hope it's give you a bit of an idea on how to use layers and layer masks. As I say, it's only the tip of the iceberg, but once you get the fundamentals, the rest comes a lot easier. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial, and hopefully I shall post some more at a later date. And that's about it for now. Thank you.